Hi, this is Jacob's Algebra, Chapter 9, Lesson 5. Lesson 5 is really just a continuation of Lesson 4. There is nothing new in this lesson. We're just continuing multiplying polynomials. So I'm going to work a few examples from number 4. Number 4 is just like number 8 that I assigned for homework. So let's start with number 4, part H. Part H is 2x minus 8. Sorry, that's not a very curved parentheses there, times 3x minus 1. And I'm going to work this out two different ways. First, I'm going to do the box method because I really like the box method. It's also called the diagram method or the grid method. But I like this one because this method always works and because it makes sure that you actually multiply everything out the way you're supposed to. So I've got 2x minus 8, so I'm going to put that across the top here. We could put it across the side. It doesn't really matter where you choose to place each one of them. And then 3x minus 1, so 3x and minus 1. So the top left box is going to be 3x times 2x, so that is 6x squared. The top right box is going to be 3x times negative 8. That is negative 24x. The bottom left box is negative 1 times 2x, so that is negative 2x. And then the bottom right box is negative 1 times negative 8, so that is a positive 8. Then we need to write out what our answer is. Notice that these two terms here that are diagonal from each other are both x terms. That means that we can add them together. So when we're writing out our answer, we have 6x squared, that's in our top left box. Then we had negative 24x's and got negative 2 more x's. So that means we have negative 26x's. And then we also have a plus 8. So that is our answer for 2x minus 8 times 3x minus 1. Another way to work this out, 2x minus 8 times 3x minus 1, is to distribute this first parentheses across the second one. So I'm going to take this first term, 2x, and multiply it by our second parentheses, 3x minus 1. And then I'm going to take this negative 8, and I'm going to distribute it across the second parentheses also. So now 2x times 3x is 6x squared. 2x times negative 1 is negative 2x. Negative 8 times 3x is negative 24x. Negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8. Notice that these two terms here are what we had in our first column up above, and these two terms here are what we had in our second column up above. So it works out the same way no matter which way you choose to do it. Now these middle two terms can be combined because they are both x terms, so we get 6x squared minus 26x plus 8. Like I said, either way works. Use the way that works best for you. Okay, so we'll do another one from number 4. We're just going to do part J now. So 4J is x minus 10 times 4x plus 9. Yeah. So first I'm going to work this out with the box method. So here's my box. And now I'm going to put in my grid lines. Not as neat as they had been. So I have x minus 10. I'm going to choose to put that on the side this time. And then 4x plus 9. Again, it does not matter whether you choose to put your first parentheses down the side or across the top. You can do it in whichever order you want. Top left box is x times 4x. That is 4x squared. Top right box is x times 9. That is 9x. Bottom left box is negative 10 times 4x. That is negative 40x. Bottom right box is negative 10 times 9 is negative 90. So now we just add all this together. Notice that our diagonal terms here are both x terms. That means that we can add those together. So when we write out our answer, we start with 4x squared from our top left box. And then we have 9x minus 40x. That is negative 31x. And then we have a negative 90 at the end, negative 90. So our answer is 4x squared minus 31x minus 90. Now, and the other way to work this out is to write out x minus 10 times 4x plus 9. And this time I'm going to even work it in a more shortcut way. Rather than writing out that I'm multiplying x times this second parentheses and then negative 10 times this second parentheses, I'm going to just do it. X times 4x is 4x squared. X times 9 is 9x. Negative 10 times 4x, I'm sorry, I left off the x. Negative 10 times 4x is negative 40x, and negative 10 times 9 is negative 90. We can add these two middle terms to get 4x squared minus 31x minus 90. Okay, so that was working out number 4 part J, which is just like number 8. So now we're going to move on and look at problem number 5. Problem number 5 is just like problem number 6. So you are given two polynomials, polynomial A and polynomial B, and you're supposed to find their product and call it polynomial C. So polynomial A is 5x minus 3. Polynomial B is 2x plus 1. And then we need to find their product, and we'll call that polynomial C. So I'm going to use the grid again because you know I like the grid. And let me draw my grid lines. And so I'm going to put 5x minus 3 along the side and 2x plus 1 across the top. So top left box, we have 5x times 2x is 10x squared. Top right box is 5x times 1, that's 5x. Bottom left box is negative 3 times 2x, that is negative 6x. Bottom right box, negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. So you can see we have the same kind of term in these two diagonal boxes. So our polynomial C is going to be 10x squared from the top left box. The middle term is going to be 5x minus 6x, which is negative x. And then the last term is going to be just the negative 3 that's left over here at the end. So now we have polynomials A, B, and C. So that is what we need to do for part A. Part B says find the values of the three polynomials if x equals 1, if x equals 3, and if x equals 10. I'm only going to do it for 1 and for 3 for this example. So we're going to start off with polynomial A, which is 5x minus 3, and then we will have polynomial B, which is 2x plus 1, and then we will have polynomial C, 10x squared minus x minus 3. And I'm going to do lines here so that everything stays nice and sort of straight-ish. Okay, and then I'll also do vertical line here. Okay, so we're going to do this first for x equals 1. I need another horizontal line here. There we go. Okay, so when x equals 1, if I plug that into polynomial A, that means we're going to have 5 times 1 minus 3. 5 times 1 is 5, minus 3 is going to be 2. Now we're going to plug it into polynomial B. 2 times 1 plus 1. Well, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is going to be 3. Now we'll plug x equals 1 into polynomial C. We have 10 times 1 squared, which is 1, minus 1 minus 3. So that's just plugging 1 in here for each of these x's. So 10 times 1 is 10, minus 1 is 9, minus 3 is 6. Notice 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, now I'm going to drop a vertical line over here. And we will do this for x equals 3. So I'm going to plug 3 into our first polynomial, polynomial A, in place of x. So that's going to mean 5 times 3, because it's 5x, minus 3. 5 times 3 is 15, minus 3 is 12. Now I'm going to plug 3 into polynomial B, 2x plus 1. So 2 times 3 plus 1. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Okay, now I'm going to plug x equals 3 into 10x squared minus x minus 3. So we have 10 times x squared. Our x is 3, so 3 squared is 9, minus x, so we're going to do minus 3, and then minus 3 at the end. 10 times 9 is 90, minus 3 is 87, minus another 3 is 84. So if we look at this, notice we get 2 times 3 is 6, 12 times 7 is 84. C is the product of A and B, so when we plug a number into A and we plug a number into B, our answer when we plug that number into C ought to be the product of those two. So this was number 5, which is just like number 9 on the homework. So now we're going to move on to number 6. Number 6 says find each of the following products. So I'm just going to work a few examples from number 6. So 6a is x squared plus 5 times x squared minus 1. Sorry, that is not very neat. Really still not very neat. So let's find this product. I'm going to use my grid because you know how much I like using my grid. And put my grid lines in. Okay, so now I'm going to write x squared and 5 on the left side because it's understood to be a positive. We can go ahead and write a positive here if we want. And then x squared minus 1. So this top left box is going to be x squared times x squared. That's going to be x to the 4th because when we multiply two numbers that have the same base, we add their exponents. And then we have x squared times negative 1. That is negative x squared. Bottom left corner, we have 5 times x squared. That is 5x squared. And the bottom right corner, we have 5 times negative 1. That is negative 5. Notice again that we have here in the middle, these diagonal terms are both x squared terms, so those can be added together. So our answer to this problem is x to the 4th from the top left box. We add together what we got on these two diagonal boxes. Negative x squared plus 5x squared is 4x squared. And then we have negative 5 in the bottom right box, so minus 5. So the product of x squared plus 5 and x squared minus 1 is x to the 4th plus 4x squared minus 5. Okay, so now let's look at 6D. And 6D is x squared plus 3x minus 1 times x squared minus x plus 3. Okay, so we're going to work this one out. This time I've got to make a bigger grid. Okay, so we're going to have 3 terms going across the top, and we're going to have 3 terms going across the sides. Okay, so now I just write my terms in place. I've got x squared, 3x, and negative 1 from our first parentheses. I have x squared, negative x, and a positive 3 from our second parentheses. Now we just multiply to fill in our boxes. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. X squared times negative x is negative x cubed. X squared times 3 is 3x. Next row, 3x times x squared is 3x cubed because this is x to the 1st power. It's understood to be the 1st power. 3x times negative x, again, this is understood to be the 1st power. 3x times negative x is negative 3x squared. And then we have 3x times 3 is 9x. Last row, we have negative 1 times x squared is negative x squared. Negative 1 times negative x is going to be a positive x. And then negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Now I want you to notice something here. Our diagonals happen to all be the same degree. So these two terms both have the same degree. They're both 3rd degree. These 3 terms here are all 2nd degree. These terms are all 1st degree. So our answer is going to be x to the 4th plus 2x cubed. Oh, this is not written correctly. This is 3x squared, sorry. and then minus x